There we go. Now we won't have that crazy feedback. I caught it like right before it started getting going. It's definitely one of my not quite awake days. I was up last night. I'm working on. I'm trying to get this silly Tyranid army done, so I can go play this game. Because you know, Escalation League. Yeah, I've told people I'd play, so I'm trying to get that done so that I can go do that. So, but my eye's been bugging me, and I promised these kids we'd go to the water park, so I got to do all that today. But you know, maybe some time at the water park will be good for my eye. I won't be staring at something, you know, unblinkingly for a long period of time. I probably could have used a few more hours of sleep, to be honest. But you know, that's why we make coffee. And I kind of enjoy these little morning chats, except for my hair looks so awful. Good lord. That's my vanity showing. At least I'm aware of it. I feel like if you're aware of something, like it's better. Like it's okay to be like a little vain. If you're like, oh, that was a little vain of me, wasn't it? At least you know, and like you could be like, maybe I need to be less vain. But I'm totally probably due for a trim and a haircut and a beard trim. It's like, yeah, it's getting out of control. But like I said yesterday, you know, I get to rebel a little bit. I spent a long time with my hair like cut up and my beard tight and all that stuff. I'm gonna be a little crazy for fun. Although my beard is getting a little out of control. I'm finally getting some gray into the sides of it too. I've had these two strips for years, but it's kind of, I think I'm finally getting some gray in the sides. Anyway, what were we doing? We were painting Serosh. So let's take a look at that again. Oh, too far. There we go. Our friend here. I think I'm gonna do a little bit more work on this hair. I'm not quite happy with it. I did a little sanding down on some of these nubs yesterday, and so we're gonna run a little bit more paint over the top of them and try and get them to look a little better. I don't know. I'm kind of irritated with some of these nubs. They've been making me a little crazy. A lot of them you couldn't really see them until we started painting it. And these are just from what these are from the printer. When the printer printed the stuff out, it had to have something to grab onto because of the way a printer works, and so it leaves behind a little bit, a few of these little places where it was all attached. And we go over this, you know, we go over this every model. I think we talk about this same thing, but it's one of the big downsides to resin printing and 3D printing in general versus injection molding. Injection molding mold lines are almost easier to deal with than these. Sometimes you don't even see some of these little points until you start painting it. Where with mold lines, it's pretty easy to tell exactly where they're going to be. They're going to be right where the mold came together. So you can kind of follow a line and you're good. Man, see, that it's just an unfortunate place to have printed it from. This would have probably been better if your supports were on the underside of this. So if the supports were on the underside, then all of this stuff would be back here instead. So because like there's no mark here, and we could easily had the supports on this side and printed it that way, but you know, that's okay. It's a minor thing, honestly. I'm just being obsessive, honestly. But I get that way with some of this stuff. I get a little, especially these items. Like these have been special. They're going on a big display at a gentleman's house, and I want him to look cool. I want him so whenever he shows them off, people who see them are like, oh wow, that's really cool. Give him his kudos. I looked at that other band that Shy had recommended, Mr. McBeardsley, and they don't have any like long videos that aren't them playing Dungeons and Dragons, which probably wouldn't work necessarily for our little deal. But we end up with a lot of advertisements. So I'm gonna look at it again some more, see if I can't find something that works. But I was trying to find one that was gonna work today, and I couldn't. So we went back with Epidemic Sounds and stuff. This is more from their lounge series, but I found another one of those long ones on there. It actually fits this mood fits our channel pretty good. Okay, that's a little smoother. And getting a set of these files is a good idea. They're not hard to get a hold of. You usually find them at a hardware store. Of course, Amazon, you know. You can find anything on Amazon nowadays. Okay. Alright, I think that's probably a good amount of them. Like one more right here. Okay. Alright, well that's done. It's a little bit of a pain, but that's alright. We're just going to come back and kind of patch up any of those places where we did that. Howdy, Rasmus. How are you today, my friend? mean, this may take a couple of coats to get those fixed back up, but they're going to look a lot better with those little nubs worn off of them. And it was a little bit of a pain, but not too bad. And I'm gonna be happier looking at it with those little weird bumps gone. Like I said, it will probably take a few rounds of paint to get that all clean back up, but it's definitely going to look 10 times better. Especially with as thin as this white is. We definitely want to get this area around the crown done up, so we can start working on the crown while this round dries. And then we'll come back and add another. And we're kind of doing that same thing we did on the face. We're picking where that stroke is going to start, and then we're bringing it on through. And that's going to help with keeping the hairs looking like they're individual, and keep with the flow of the painting, the piece itself. My advertising these days is fierce, man. Fierce, I tell you. White is always so repetitive. You've got to really be, if you want to make something white, you got to be ready to paint the same spot like 20 times to get it to smooth out and look good. Because it is definitely, white is all about those layers. Layers, 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 layers. Like we saw yesterday. Rester says it's pretty good. Today's been pretty chill. I'm doing all right, man. It's a beautiful day. It's Wednesday. Sun's shining. Weather's sweet. Probably gonna take the kids out to go run around at the water park later. And then I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do I got 3 more Tyranids to build for this army. And then I should be able to go play some escalation games. And, which is awesome. There's a couple reasons I'm excited to do it. One, I haven't played like a real game of Warhammer 40k in decades. It's been a long time. So it'd be cool to get back into it. 2, Adele, let's work on this army. So it's going to be great to actually play with it. And 3, I'm hoping that it'll lead to some more commissions and we can get some more people to pay us to make art. Because that's kind of the whole idea. Is to feed everything into getting the studio more people participating, more people buying, more people ordering, you know, those sort of things. You know, like, even if it isn't necessarily like them buying a commission, it'll at least maybe get more people into the YouTube channel, which that'll help getting, you know, it's all marketing. All marketing. If people never see your stuff out on the table, then, you know, it's harder to gain a following. You have a water park nearby where you live. Good location, have kids in. Yeah. Well, I mean, so Oklahoma is Oklahoma City area is very strange. We live several miles outside of the big city, but because of the way the highway system works, you can be at the water park in 30 minutes because you're just going to cut right through the middle of the city. So you don't have to like stop. There's not a lot of stop and goes. The highway system is just straight there. Good morning, friends. Shirt Mixed Beardsley is here in the house again. Rasmus beat you today, my friend. He was here first. They were here first. I gotta get better at that. I gotta just start saying they, so it doesn't sound like I'm assuming people. Because I am, but I'm trying. I don't know. I'm old. I get all caught up in weird stuff. And even if I know, I gotta try to be better at like not saying it that way, just to not. Because with screen names, you don't really know. Oklahoma highways are pretty easy to navigate. Even if you get off at the wrong place, you can easily get back to where you need to go. Man, that's the truth. Oklahoma, like, we actually have a pretty decent little highway system here in the state. It's always under construction, so it's a little annoying. But it is, like, you can get anywhere, like, you can get across the state in an hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, if you were going a long ways, it might take you a little bit more. But if you're going top to bottom, you could probably make that on the highways in 2 hours if you didn't stop. The European mind cannot comprehend this. Yeah, because America, because of the way it was built, when it was built, we didn't have the tight roads that had been, you know, roads since wagons were driven on them, or, you know, some of those roads have been around since the Romans put bricks down on them. So, like, the roads in America, when they started the big highway system, they were all built for automobiles. And, like, in Europe, from my experience, the roads a lot of the times are built for pedestrians in mind in your cities. And so, like, when you go to a city in Europe, like, you have to kind of like go into the city, and you have to like find the subway, or they'll have a, you know, like a fast train around the city that maybe, but a lot of that stuff isn't built for, It's built for people to walk on. It's built for pedestrians. Where America, because of the automobile industry, it's built for cars. Most of the traffic laws that people use all over the world were designed in LA because of pedestrians finally getting killed so many times out in LA. They had to start making laws. But yeah, Oklahoma, there was nothing here forever, for like a long time. It was basically just it's what they call a flyover state. And so they built highways so the truckers could just drive straight through here. And so everything in Oklahoma is like, because Oklahoma is the size of like, if you were to throw Oklahoma down somewhere, it'd be like Switzerland. It made it a little bit bigger than Switzerland, you know? And so, like, you can just drive across it straight, and you don't even have to necessarily get off of one highway. There is a highway that will run that runs straight north south, and one that runs almost straight east west, and you can literally just drive across one part of the state. And then if you need to go anywhere else, there's minor highways that connect everything. And so you're blasting all over the state of Oklahoma at like 75, 80 miles an hour. And you're getting run over doing that, by the way, because the people out here drive at like 90 miles an hour out on those highways. They're crazy. They're all really uptight and angry. They drive that like that. Well, not all, but there's enough of them to where you start to make that oh god, all Oklahomans drive like assholes. It's not really true, but golly, there's a lot of guys that drive like complete jackwads. That's probably true anywhere, though. I mean, I know it's definitely true in Texas. Yeah, I got to stay in Edinburgh for a long period of time, and that was one of the things I noticed the most. Was like, there aren't a whole lot of cars in like the main city. There's a few thoroughfares and stuff like that, but the old part of Edinburgh, it's not really made for cars, so there aren't any cars there. It's all pedestrian. And then, like, once you get outside of the old part of the town, you know, you'll get to some of the roadways and stuff like that. Big Beardsley says, "Man, I hate navigating Texas. I refuse to ever drive in Texas. I make everyone else deal with it. Golly, Texas is crazy, man. Every time I go to Texas, there's always some wildness that happens. It's nuts. I don't know what that is about Texas, but it's a thing." So I went down to Texas. Let's see, last year we went down for vacation to go to the Gulf and sit on the beach. And that's like a 6-hour drive, you know. So we're driving down there, and my daughter had a performance that night, a dance recital, you know, and it was in the afternoon, and it was over at like 4 or something like that. And so we're trying to drive down to the beach, leaving Oklahoma City at 4 in the morning on a 6-hour drive, right? And so it's in the middle of the night. We've stopped and eaten I had never eaten at a Buc-ee's until this. And this is the first and only time I've ever eaten at a Buc-ee's. It was awful. We were all ill. Everybody had gas. The whole car was just reeking of child indigestion. For those with multiple children, you know what that is. It's pretty gross. So anyway, we're driving, and I see these 3 cops on the side of the road, and I'm like, okay, cops, they're coming on. They just gotten done like writing somebody a ticket, and hello, darling.
Hi.
And so they just written, and they let that person was driving away, and they start coming on the highway. Beardsley says, I've never been to a Buc-ee's. This doesn't entice me. It was so awful. So we...
It's social anxiety. Social anxiety were a gas station. Carry on.
Yeah. It's social anxiety if social anxiety was a gas station. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So anyway... I'm letting them on the highway because they have their lights on, and that's the rules. You're supposed to let, if the emergency vehicle has their lights still on, you let them on the highway. I'm like, fine, okay. So I let these people on the highway trying to obey the laws because it's late at night and I'm tired and I don't really want to engage with these police officers. And sure as hell though, they pull me over because I guess I'm obeying the law. And, because, they get behind me purposely, and then they pull me over. And I'm like, okay. This cop comes up to the car window. And I roll down the window, and it is just reeking. And, or maybe it already had it rolled down. I don't know. The whole van just stank. And he walks up. And I'm like, oh my God, what does this guy want? What could we have possibly done? He's like, oh, a bunch of kids. Where are you guys going? We're going down to the coast. And I explained to him the situation. He's like, oh, okay. Well, your light on your back of your car is emitting a white light, your tail light. I'm like, what? He's like, there's a crack in your tail light. I'm like, you pulled me over. You purposely got behind me to pull me over for a crack in my tail light that you couldn't possibly have seen when you decided to pull me over. I didn't say any of that, but that's what's going on in my head, right? And I'm like, okay, yes, officer. What do you suggest that I do about this? He's like... He looks at me like, what? And I said, well, I'm still like 4 or 5 hours from where I gotta go. So, is there like a Walmart or something? I can go get like some red duct tape or something? And he's like, well... and there's like a gas station a little ways down the way, like a trucker gas station. I was like, do you think they'd have red tape down there? He's like, well, I don't know. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm trying to turn. Yeah, my coughing is so bad. I'm trying to turn my head better. Yeah, I'm having a really bad breathing day. So the cough is just going to get, I'm glad I took my breathing treatment this morning. It'd be worse. I wouldn't even be talking. But yeah, he pulled me over. He didn't have idea what to do. He probably thought we were smuggling drugs or something. I don't know. It was so wild. We did have a bunch of stuff strapped to the top, and it did look a little bit, Grapes of Wrath jankety, but that's because we had passed through like a crazy thunderstorm on the way down there, and it just kind of wrecked everything on top of the deal. It was just shredding stuff. But, it was so funny. And he was finally like, well, you just keep this ticket. If anybody pulls you over, just hand it to him. And they didn't explain the situation. And I was like, oh, okay, yes, sir. And we went on our way. It's so funny. I do apologize, Rasmus, for coughing at you. Big Brutus says, man, I've been pulled over by small town police a couple times for tag light being out. The tag light, that one's always a funny one. Like, really? There's no law that says anything about the tag light. Plus, it's made out of reflective material, mate. Like, you can... Come on, bruh. Come on, brother. Oh, you're really obsessing over this hair now. The face is just too cool, though, to leave the hair just kind of blasé, you know. We definitely need to get in there and tighten it up. Oh, it's about to get worse. My lawn guy's here. So he's about to stir up all this grass, which is going to make it to where I can't breathe at all. Oh well. Yeah, my friend, like most of my friends in Scotland don't even own cars. I have a lot of friends in Scotland. And they're like, yeah, we don't own cars. Like, I don't need a car. What do I need a car for? I don't live in the country. I live in a city. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like everybody in the US has a car. I wonder if the kids pulled those hoses in like I told them to. I better find out pretty quick. Because he is about to go. He don't stop. "30 minutes just messing with his hair." I didn't put anything on that crown I was trying to get done today. This will have to be the last day of Serosh on camera, though. I might have to finish some things up off camera, but nothing that you guys haven't seen me do a million times. Just so we can get this thing moving, I gotta get this onto the next one. This one's taking a long time. So many details. Such a great piece. Mad props to the person who sculpted this thing out. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. We're taking care of the hoses right now. Which is good. My kids are screaming at the dog, which is, you know, screaming at the dog. Okay, so I think for his crown, I want to do gold, maybe gold brushed with silver. If I remember where I put my gold paint. Oh yeah, did you check Magic Sword? I did. Their stuff is really cool, but there's not a lot of like long format stuff. So it would be like they don't have like a playlist, so you have to like select every video, or we're gonna end up with like a gang of advertisements. Not like this one has been any better though, so we might check them out tomorrow. But I really like their stuff. It was pretty cool. Where did that gold go? Oh, there it is. It slipped all the way down. got you. I was waiting more than I needed. But that's alright. We're gonna overbrush this with some silver just to give it a little bit more of a differentiation. I didn't want it to be a solid silver, so I'm gonna try to make it look kind of like maybe a white gold. What's Magic Sword? Rasmus asks. Magic Sword is an electronic synth group. They make music that sounds like 80s dark fantasy epics. Very synth, wavy, very ambient. Feels like a journey through when you're listening to them. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. I'm gonna check out some more other things and see if I can't find something that's gonna. Oh shit. That's gonna work for us. I don't want to. What I don't want to have to do is try to have to select different files or different videos as I'm going along. I need to make sure it's gonna roll through. It'd be cool if I had like a producer over here that could just hit the next things for me, but I don't have one of those yet. Maybe one day. One day maybe we'll be popular and be like these YouTube channels that have like staff and stuff. I can't imagine what that's like. Staff for a YouTube channel. It sounds so weird. But it happens, man. Let's see if they have full albums posted or something. Yeah, check that out. I was looking into it this morning, but I have a bunch of other stuff going on. My head is really like in this Tyranid thing right now, so I'm trying, because I'm desperately trying to get this army ready to fight for this league. So like I'm already behind. I need to have a match this week so I can stay eligible for the next round. And I still have 3 models that haven't even been built yet. They didn't even get here till yesterday, so, yeah, me cutting it close. So hopefully we'll be up and running, though. I have a feeling I'll be ready to go by Friday. Definitely like the gold on him. That looks great. Like I said, we're gonna bring it down a few tones because we'll wash it and then we're gonna add that silver over the top of it. Depending on how it looks, I don't know. I might go back with just this gold. It looks great against that white. God. Take care of your lungs, folks. Your lungs in your throat. Speaking of dry brush and silver, we need to. Oh. My palette's been worked on. All my Tyranid colors. Didn't think you'd need that much colors for bugs, but you really do. Well, let's do that arm first. Yeah, I'm glad I quit vape for that reason. It says Mr. McBeardsley. Used to always feel like there was fluid in the back of my throat, coughing all the time, etc. Yeah, that's that'll do it. This is so mower is loud. So what's ended up happening to me is that I've got some sort of spasm in my throat that gets triggered by different allergens, and that doesn't, when it's spasming, I can't breathe in properly, and the things that cause that to spasm my throat are the same things that trigger my asthma, which doesn't allow me to breathe out. So then I asphyxiate and I pass out, and that's when it kind of starts to chill out, because once I've passed out, then I guess I'm no longer fighting it or whatever. I'm not exactly sure why when I pass out it works, but that's what the docs are like. Oh no, just don't fight it. You're gonna pass out and you're gonna be fine. Just make sure you're like on the ground or in a chair sitting down or something so that you don't fall and hit your head. And I'm like, wow, okay, well that sounds amazing. So what am I supposed to do with myself? And that's why we're here, guys, because like I can't really work like that, because I never know when I'm gonna pass out, you know. Like it's trying to do it right now. And I'm fighting it, and I'm not supposed to, but I'm fighting it because I don't know. I spent my whole life as a fighter, so like it's hard for me not to fight stuff. And it's like, it's not good. It's not. It's okay though. I saw Tulsa and Oklahoma City are top 10 worst places to live if you have allergy issues. Yeah, I believe it. It's pretty vicious. We got a lot of stuff that grows out here, and we got a lot of wind to blow it around. So that totally tracks. It makes sense. Been a fighter though. I am now. In my old days, I was definitely the fighter type. I'm way more chill and more story based now. Which is good, you know. Awesome. Alright, that part's done. Now we just gotta do this big section. Actually, I think we need to glue a piece onto it first, don't we? We popped that thing off yesterday. I'm already back to needing to put my paints away. I get working and I throw my paints over into this little area over here, onto this table. And then they just start like sliding off eventually because there's so many paints. super glue. Alright, put that piece over here. Let's glue this arm first. Since it's one that you just right out of there like that. Try to remember to squeeze from the back of your tubes. Just on GP. It does make things a little bit easier. Woo, that thing's loud. And I like this Gorilla Glue gel for working on 3D models. It's a little stickier to start off with, and it like sticks into place. It's a little harder to use sometimes, and you might end up with a little more glue than you really want. You can always remove that with a skewer or toothpick or something. Let that set up for just a second. Nappy wash. Golly, that's loud. Of course, I just stuck my hand in the super glue, so now everything's going to get glued to everything. That's okay. It's just been a comedy of errors this morning. Life is so funny. Alright, you come here. Very carefully, very carefully. Ooh, very carefully. Darken that down just a bit. And here just says, yeah, I used to have pretty bad coughing fits from vaping. I was vaping some potent nicotine. I actually quit vaping and so at the same time, which is an interesting time. I bet you that was pretty interesting for all those around you. Yeah, that would be... I know I'd be a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of deal going on there. I'd be ready to fight everybody. Just mad. Okay. Let's see if we can't get this rolling. It's a little wet from having to rinse it because we didn't want it sitting with that paint on there, but it should be alright. I love that silver looks, it hardens up so fast. That gel it does good. I wasn't irritable. was just finicky. I don't know. I didn't know what to do with my hands. Ended up putting on some weight because I was quitting. Started snacking more. I had a larger appetite. That's all pretty common. Yeah, I put on 20 pounds when I quit smoking cigarettes. And then I've lost and gained it, and lost and gained it, and lost and gained it ever since. Goodness. It's so weird, like I start to where I can feel like when my throat starts to vibrate from the spasms starting, and it's like, go. I try to be a little bit more calm. It's part of the reason I don't talk. I try not to talk as loud anymore. I used to be a pretty loud guy, but like I feel like I'm whispering all the time now because I don't want to trigger these throat spasms. It's so it's so weird. Getting old is strange. Yes, pink red cinemas are just built different. I guess. I don't know. Oh, goodness sakes. Poor driver is ready for a good conditioning. Yeah, it got something in it right there. You can see right there. Well, maybe you can't. I can. There's like a mat. Yeah, see that little ridge, that dark ridge? Caught something in it. Might have been a little bit of that glue. That's why you have this. Once you notice something like that, it really is better to get in there and try and clean it as soon as possible. Get the conditioner. Yeah, I bet you that was just a little bit of the super glue, wasn't quite dry enough. So what we're going to do with this, we're going to work up that lather, and then we're just going to leave it on the tip, and we're going to let it kind of hang out. And then I'll clean it again later, and it'll probably take that right off of there. McPherson says, saw Magic the Gathering is doing a little Monty Python and the Holy Grail crossover soon. Cards look really good. Yeah, that's I find that situation pretty amusing because it's definitely art imitating life, imitating art, imitating life kind of thing. It's like Artception or something, because that is definitely like that movie doesn't seem. That movie is definitely not the kind of movie that was made for this. Oh, why did I do that? I gotta rinse that out. Not put more paint in it. Yeah, it's starting to come out now. Probably another round or two, and it'll be a Rider's Reign. All right, now let's come back. Put just a very light dusting of this silver. Top of it, almost to give it like an ethereal kind of metal, and to bring it down just a little bit so it's not so shiny, because we're kind of trying to have him, because he is ethereal, he's not quite in the reality. I don't know. It's a weird indie. There we go. And you can see a slight difference between the two armors, which is great. It's crazy because I was reading the cards and their effects actually make sense. Well, yeah, because it was all ridiculousness. They, like, the entire point of Monty Python and the Holy Grail was to make fun of people who play Dungeons and Dragons. Like. So yeah, it's gonna work because it's ridiculous representation of Dungeons and Dragons. The Monty Python boys thought that stuff was hilarious. And they loved it, and they wanted to, anything that Monty Python loved or didn't love, they made fun of it. It didn't matter what it was. If they liked it, they probably were gonna make fun of it even more than the things they didn't like. With the exception of, the government, because they loved to make fun of the government. Uh-oh, looks like we got a little wash on our forehead here. That's not good. Dang it. Okay. That sucks. Get it to go away. Got a couple little smudges. There we go. There, now you can barely tell. Alright. Yeah, it should totally make sense because they based it, like I said, they based it on Dungeons and Dragons and The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and all the stuff that inspires things like Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. It's hilarious. I can't wait for the people to get online and start complaining about it. It's not fair. I don't like it. Whatever it is they end up complaining about. Those fan bases are kind of toxic. D&D didn't used to be, but man, it has gotten super toxic. This new edition's got a lot of people freaking out. Like they always do. And it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, but you can still play the old edition, right? Like, that the book you have is still works. Like, I have the stuff to run, I think, advanced, like old school advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I have all that stuff. We could throw in some FACO and try and figure all that out if you really wanted to. But there's a reason that we don't do that anymore, and it's because it was kind of a pain in the butt. Why would you yearn to go back? Just to relive your childhood? I never really understood it. You didn't play 3.5, so you're not a real D&D fan. Pathfinder is the real D&D. Yeah, they get crazy, man. They're like, bro, listen. I have a copy of like the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons handbook from the year I was born. I've played every editions of Dungeons and Dragons, and let me tell you, they all have things about them that suck. And just a lot of the old Gragnards, their thing with Dungeons and Dragons now is that it's not the chew you up dungeon crawler it used to be. So it feels like it's cheap somehow. And like, oh, what was it? The other day I was talking to somebody, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna play a necromancer, bard, blah 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 thing," and I was like, "At what level?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, the level 20, no." And I was like, "How many games have y'all played? Like, how long is this campaign going on?" "Oh, we're just gonna start it next week." And I'm like, "You're starting out at a level 20 character? What kind of DM in their mind would let you do this?" And then you just, you just kind of have to be like, "Oh, okay, well, this isn't the kind of game it was when I was playing it. It's a different kind of game. It's more about the story now than it is about the dungeon. You know, when I was playing D&D, it was about the dungeon, trying to beat so and so's dungeon because it was really hard, and that was what it was like. And the video games were easy. Now the video games are hard, and the Dungeons and Dragons is easy. It's weird how it flipped like that. Because this Elder Scrolls game, or what? Not Elder Scrolls, Elden Ring game is hard as heck. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be working on his hair up until the minute I give it back to him. But man, that crown on him definitely made that look proper. So good. If I ever started my characters at higher level, it'd be 3 at most. That's just a personal taste of mine. I like doing level 1 starts though. Yeah, usually everybody who plays in my games, they start out at level 1, and you're a graduate from an adventurer's college, kind of like the Professor Xavier's school in the D&D universe. So, and you're out either on your college thesis or your graduates and you're paying off your student loan debt or something like that. It's a interesting way to start them, but it works. Yep. Really digging that hair. I might leave it ethereal. I'm still deciding. He looks great. Golly. Man, super excited about that. Looks so good. Alright, kiddos. Well, that's going to be it for me today. I got to go take these kids to the water park because I promised that I would do this thing. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to come back, work on some Tyranids. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Go ahead and open up my Stevo Vision a little more. That way it's ready for tomorrow. So anyway, I hope you guys had a great day. I had a great day. We're gonna get some more stuff done on this. Tomorrow is gonna be a big moving on down. We're gonna do the base next, I think. That way I can lock it all together. Beardsley says, I really want to take on that adventurer's college idea for my campaigns. I never found the best way to bridge the gap for player injection, something like a college I really like. Yeah, it makes it super easy, because then like if you need to roll out NPCs that they need to automatically know, and there's not like a anything weird about it, you can pull out, oh, well, this guy from your college, this representative of the college has, you need to meet him at this place, and they can dole out information and all sorts of stuff. And it's interesting. It's an easy way to kind of, and it gives them like a place to kind of go back to, like, hey, well, we'll go back and we're going to hang out at the, or go ask our professors this or something like that. You have a lot of different ways you can use it, and it does make it to where it's like they don't necessarily have to have been in the same classes, but they definitely have a shared experience of having been in the college. My sons, they all decided that they were part of the varsity squad for the soccer team at the college when they played. It was really funny. So they all played on soccer together on a team, which was goofball stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'm gonna go get on out there and get some fun and some sun, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.